My 18th birthday was supposed to be the day I stepped into adulthood with a celebration that felt like mine. Instead, it became the day I realized my place in my family or lack thereof, and the catalyst for breaking free. 3 days ago, I turned 18, but the party I'd spent weeks planning with my parents was canceled at the last minute because of my older sister, Cassandra. Her tantrum over a ruined weekend trip turned my milestone into collateral damage, and it was the final straw in a lifetime of being overshadowed. Cassandra, 24, wasn't even supposed to be in Santa Fe for my birthday. She'd been set to jet off to Miami with her influencer friends for a music festival she'd been hyping up for months. But a massive hurricane brewing off the coast grounded all flights, leaving her stranded and insufferable. My parents, always tiptoeing around their golden child, bent over backward to soothe her. When she stormed into our adobe-style kitchen that morning and declared, "If I'm stuck here, no one's celebrating," they didn't even blink. By noon, they'd sent texts to all my friends and our extended family in Albuquerque, canceling the backyard fiesta we'd planned, without telling me. I spent the day blissfully unaware, stringing fairy lights across our courtyard, arranging vibrant marigolds from the local market, and baking my favorite piñon nut cookies from a recipe my abuela Sofia had passed down. The New Mexico sunset painted the sky in fiery oranges, and I was buzzing with excitement, checking my phone for updates from friends. But as the hours ticked by, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., no one showed. The courtyard stayed empty, the music playlist I'd curated silent. Confused, I found my parents in the den, casually watching a documentary as if nothing was wrong. "Where is everyone?" I asked, my voice trembling. That's when they dropped the bomb. They'd canceled my party because Cassandra was too upset to handle a celebration. The betrayal hit like a sandstorm. This wasn't just about a party. It was 18 years of being pushed aside for Cassandra's whims. She got the new clothes from boutiques in Old Town, while I wore her faded cast-offs. She chose our family vacations, while my suggestions were brushed off. And now, my 18th birthday, the one day I thought was mine, was sacrificed for her ego. I erupted, shouting at my parents about their favoritism, about how I'd always been an afterthought. "Cassandra's 24, I yelled. "She's not a child, and neither am I." My mom wrung her hands, muttering about Cassandra's delicate state, while my dad hissed, "Keep it down, you'll upset her." She was napping, of course, untouched by the chaos she'd caused. Then Cassandra appeared, gliding downstairs in her designer lounge set, acting innocent. "Why all the drama?" she asked, tossing her hair. When I called her out, she had the nerve to lecture me about empathy for her canceled trip. That's when I lost it. Years of pent-up rage boiled over, and I lunged at her, grabbing her precious ponytail. We tussled in the living room, knocking over a ceramic vase, until my parents pulled us apart. In the midst of the chaos, the doorbell rang. It was my grandfather, Abuelo Mateo, a retired judge who commanded respect with his quiet authority and sharp gaze. He'd driven from Taos, expecting a lively birthday party, only to walk into a war zone. I'd always kept quiet about my parents' favoritism. It felt too small to complain about. But that night, I couldn't hold back. I spilled everything. The canceled party, the years of being sidelined, the constant prioritization of Cassandra. Abuelo's face darkened with every word. "Is this true?" he demanded, turning to my parents. Before they could stammer a response, he dropped a bombshell. For years, he'd been sending them money to keep their struggling art gallery afloat. Even my birthday party, the one they just canceled, was funded by him. "I thought I was supporting a family that valued both daughters," he said, his voice like steel. "I was wrong." Cassandra, ever clueless, tried to justify herself, whining about her ruined Miami plans. Abuelo cut her off. "You think your disappointment outweighs your sister's milestone?" he asked, his tone icy. Then he turned to me. "Valeria, pack your things. You're coming with me." The house exploded into chaos. My parents begged Abuelo not to cut them off, their voices desperate as they followed him around the room. But he was done listening. When he asked if I wanted to live with him, I didn't hesitate. Yes. I packed my clothes, my sketchbooks, and the turquoise necklace Abuela Sofia had given me, ignoring the escalating argument downstairs. My parents didn't once ask me to stay. They were too busy pleading for Abuelo's money. As we drove to his ranch in Taos, he said, "I should have stepped in sooner. I thought they'd change." His home, with its sweeping views of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, felt like a refuge. My parents' text started the next day, crocodile tears and hollow apologies. We thought you were stronger than Cassandra. They wrote, as if their favoritism was my fault for being too independent. I ignored them until they made a fatal mistake. Tell us what it'll take to come back and talk to Abuelo for us. I saw my chance and texted back, I'll consider it if Cassandra moves out. She's 24 with a job. She doesn't need to live with you. It was a test. I had no intention of returning, but I wanted to see if they'd choose me for once. Their silence spoke volumes. Life with Abuelo was everything I'd been missing. He helped me apply to the University of New Mexico, shared stories of his days as a judge, and taught me how to make his famous green chili stew. One evening, as we watched the stars from his porch, he told me about my parents' past. My mom's grief over losing her brother in a hiking accident while pregnant with me had twisted into resentment. They almost gave you up, he admitted. I fought to keep you in the family. It hurt, but it also set me free. I wasn't the problem. 2 weeks later, Cassandra showed up. I was walking home from school with my friend Diego, a soccer player who'd become my rock after I shared my story. We spotted her leaning against her red Jeep in the school parking lot, her presence like a dark cloud. She trailed us for blocks, finally demanding to talk, privately. I refused, with Diego by my side. She launched into a tirade, accusing me of destroying the family with my selfish ultimatum. I threw her own words back at her. If I can't be happy, neither can you. When she lunged at me, knocking me to the ground, Diego pulled her off effortlessly. I got up, dusted off my jeans, and slapped her hard across the face. Come near me again, and I'm calling the cops, I warned. She backed off, stunned. Abuelo was ready to press charges, but I convinced him to let it go. Cassandra was already unraveling. A week later, my parents finally responded to my ultimatum. We're keeping Cassandra. You're too jealous and cruel to be around her. We don't need Abuelo's money anymore. Your mom's cousin is investing in the gallery. Their follow-up message was a venomous rant, calling me ungrateful for the bare minimum they'd provided. I blocked them before they could block me. Life blossomed after that. I started at UNM with a scholarship, majoring in environmental science. Diego and I began dating, spending weekends hiking the Sandia Mountains. My parents' world crumbled. Relatives cut them off after hearing the truth, and their gallery struggled without Abuelo's support. Cassandra eventually moved out, unable to handle their downsized life in a cramped apartment. Abuelo became my true parent, guiding me with wisdom and love. I'm free now, valued for who I am, and living a life I never thought possible. Looking back, I'm grateful for that canceled birthday. It showed me who my family really was and gave me the courage to build a new one.